Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Welcome back to Mastodon Comics and Music. Uh, Today I'm bringing you the first episode in quite some time of my Marvel graphic novel series, and we're kicking it off with number 11, Void Indigo. Now, Void Indigo was written by Steve Gerber and fantastic art by Val Myrick, and interesting of note, a young Andy Kubert doing the letters. It had a release of July of 1984, and it would spin off into a very short-lived uh, miniseries on the Epic imprint. Um, that was the Marvel's creator-owned imprint. Um, the comic didn't last, so to speak, due to its violent nature of the content. Um, there were minor references that the book was actually set within the Marvel universe, but due to the comics aforementioned extreme portrayal of violence, uh, the distributor viewed it had a reaction, uh, a negative reaction to the series. The critical reaction was harsh for the same reason. Um, Bob Ingersoll of the Comic Buyer's Guide stated the law is an ass, uh, and that the book was a crime against humanity. In revisiting his columns decades later, he reviewed his comments, but he still viewed the book as postulate. Um, Orders for the second issue would drop off due to the negative views, and editor Archie Goodwin saw it unnecessary to continue the book. Um, while issues 3 through 6 were never printed or released, the synopsis was later leaked on the internet into the internet age, which gave people an opportunity to see how the story would have concluded. Now, this book, I thought it was very good. The art, beautiful painted art by Val Myrick. I will do my best to try to find more information on Mr. Myrick. And even if I am pronouncing his last name properly, which I probably am not, and I apologize for that, but the art is fantastic, and the lettering by young Kubert is complements the story very well. Now I felt some weaknesses toward the end. That's why sometimes a 48-page story can tend to be 48 pages is too much for it. But there was a segment within towards the end in the latter half of the book that I thought was kind of lacking, but as far as the writing, but maybe that was the way Steve Gerber was writing the character at the time. Um, we start out with a flashback. Characters such as Ath Agar in a pre-Atlantis world. So the story is kind of set in a pre-Atlantis world and what happened to Atlantis. And we later find out in the story that Atlantis was actually in the New Mexico desert, which I found fascinating, a fascinating idea. Um, but it's set during the days of Atlantis, sword and sorcery. So anybody who is a Conan fan would probably find this title interesting. Um, and the antagonists are these gods, the the Dark Lords, and there's four of them: Koth, Hemoth, Eod, and Zephyr. Now they are trying to um, maintain their youth. They're trying to sacrifice and maintain their youth, as is with a common trend within books like this. Um, and they end up uh, being confronted by this Ath Agar, and as they try to sacrifice his quote unquote woman, you will say, or his betrothed. Um, and long story short, the Ren is her name, is killed by these men, and he vows destruction upon these dark lords. Flash forward after uh, Ath Agar's demise at the hands of these dark lords, and it's kind of a Trancers feel, where the soul of Athagar is propelled into the future, um, as is one of the Dark Lords. So we find, we find Athagar is now a, how should I say it, a space explorer. He's a pilot of a ship in present day, and he goes by the name of Jagger or Yager. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be pronounced, uh, but the uh, feud is kind of rekindled anew, um, between uh, the former Athagar or Jagger, and uh, one of the former Dark Lords, who, in a sense, is trying to get uh, Jagger's the revenge that he seeks for him. All in all, this is a very good read. It was a fun read. Again, the art is fantastic. Definitely check out some more of Val Meyerick's art if you can find it. I will try to put links down in the description, more information on this book, um, and the other uh, the spinoff on Epic Comics. For me, I'd give this an 8.0, really, on the art alone. The story, again, like I said, it's lacking in some spots. The writing gets a little in the latter half of the book, but by the end of the book, you discover that Jagger is he's going to be around for a little bit, or unfortunately for the epic book, 2 issues. um, that's all I have for you today. Definitely check this out if you can get a copy, if you can find a copy. It is worth the read. It's worth it for the art alone. I mean, that cover is so vibrant. Um, Very, very cool. Uh, Thank you for stopping by and checking this video out. Again, this is my first in the series for quite a while, about over a year. And if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments, so I can try to improve. And in the meantime, keep collecting, keep reading, and keep sharing.